But what would it be not giving thanks to everything around me? To the east, to the north, to the west, to the south, above and below. Well, those who've never watched me, this is the Big Eagle Hour, and I am your host, Big Pontiac, from the Big Eagle Hill. Want to welcome you, and I'm still, setting up, so bear with me, bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. But I'm going to hit you with something in a little few minutes, and let that kind of play for the people that want to check it out. You can check it out, and yeah, hope everyone's very well this afternoon. It is very beautiful here in the state of Minnesota, even though it's a chilly 44. I think that's what it said. Let me see this. 47. It says it's windy, though. It's quite windy. But it's still a beautiful day. Even despite it being windy, it's still sunny. Got a couple windows open. Furnace ain't cut off. But yeah. So what we have today is 47 degrees, but it's windy. It is really windy. It is, we have a wind going from east to west, 10-mile-an-hour wind. Even though it's 47, the wind is making it cooler. So, and then the beautiful thing about it is tomorrow, it's supposed to be 63 on Saturday, 62 on Sunday, and Monday, 68. 79 by next Wednesday, which will make it feel like summertime here. PJ Allen, what is you doing up, man? What is you doing up? Welcome to PJ Allen. You off today, bro? I just got back from the doctor's office, or physical therapy, and so that went well. Gave me the go ahead to play pickleball again, which I had been thinking about doing anyway. So it was good to get it to hear from a therapist to say that he thought that my arm was well enough to kick some pickleball ass. And so that's what I'm gonna do, y'all. Kick a little pickleball ass. Might have to mess around still and get me another paddle, some more balls. Ooh. Whoa. Had to get some more of this here. There we go. There we go. Baked and ready to go. You ever Bill Russell documentary? Yeah, I watched the Bill Russell. I thought it was pretty good. As I said before, when watching the Bill Russell documentary, remember when the first time he really protest? And if you look at where they protest, which I had never caught before, but they protest where my ancestor's name is on the Colonel Robert Shaw Memorial. One of my ancestors' name is on there. One of my I guess he would be my great uncle, Thomas P. Ampey. His name is on that statue. So I thought that was interesting, showing Boston. Yep. It's good to see the pickleballs on ESPN. Yeah. Hey, Lorenzo, what's happening? But yeah, a big pickleball tournament was on or it might be this weekend coming up. It's a big pickleball tournament they had. And I know around here they've been playing the weather. Anytime the weather breaks, they'll take the mobile nets and try to play. So it's all over here where people playing. As I said, my stuff is locked, and still gotta make an appointment to get my ride looked at to get my trunk unlatched. There we go. So yeah, that's all that's been happening with me, y'all. Just out a little bit, access to something. I'm gonna let something play in a minute. Yeah, I want to let this play. And this is a little bit of what I talk about, and I'll let him do the talking. Let's start it up. Okay, here we go. With the music, but let's see. Like Geronimo, sitting bull, red cloud, crazy horse, Lennon Peltier. Now they poisoning the waters for our sons and our daughters, so we on the frontier. We won.
Recordings.
We've been sharing information about the Nina and the Pinta that are the Columbus replica ships, but they still represent and are symbolic of the Christopher Columbus ships, which has to do with a lot of cannibalism, pedophilia, murder, rape, everything that they've done to our people. They've stolen our people, they've put them on these ships, and they've taken them to other lands and have eaten and have abused them physically and sexually. This continues to date on some of those ships that they are being sent out in. That's why we don't need any new ports anywhere around Aguasasne or any places like that. The other day we went to Albany. A few people from Aguasasne, along with myself, who is Chata or Choctaw. We went there and we confronted the Nina and the Pinta and the captain of the Columbus ships, and we let them know that we are saying no entrance, and that we do not want cannibalism here. We don't want pedophilia here. We don't want murderers, rapists, and thieves, and people of that matter. Those are from the Columbus ship. There is a difference. There are the white people who are the white tribe, and there are the white race. There's a big difference between both of them. The white race are cannibals, and those are the Columbus ships and the people who came with them. We've been sharing this information about the Columbus ships, where it is in the stars, and how it pertains, and what is going on right now. This is all a plan, and it has been, because if you look into these sky maps, you will see that they are exactly where they're supposed to be at this time, and that's why we are exactly where we're supposed to be, ahead of them, and we're stopping them. And we're going to hit them at every port. We want the people to know that you need to also get out there and get to these ports where they're coming. We need to see the support, and for you to say no too. These are your ancestors who were taken on these ships. This is your family members. These are tribal members. These are people from here who were taken on these ships. And that's when they say ship them in, ship them out. You got to know that these words have meanings. Although I have been explaining this and sharing the truth, I also want to introduce you to a friend through video. His name is Meredith Quinn. He is an international legal advisor, registered with the United Nations. At that time, he has passed. He took his journey 20 years ago when he went to the hospital after sharing much information with the people, and he didn't make it back from the hospital. And that's why a lot of things happen like that, and that's why we don't go to hospitals unless something's broken. That's why we use the minerals and everything to heal our bodies now. You got to stay away from those hospitals because they are deadly. I'm going to introduce you and let you hear the words from Meredith Quinn from himself, and I will do that right now.
They were being attacked. This white.
Now let me say this: this man they're about to show you is the one that I got the. I didn't. He wrote the Time Walking Papers. This is Meredith Quinn that wrote the Time Walking Papers, and this is one of the few times that it's his words and not others.
This white nation was being attacked by a huge nation of cannibals. Because do you ever notice why the white man has fish on Friday? Now, remember that law I told you? What is the name of that? Doctrine? Payne's Doctrine. That's an agreement that the white men had to sign down and say that they would no longer ever kill an Indian, cut him up, make steaks out of him, have the Jewish rabbi bless it, and sell it in the meat market. Now, you know why the Payne Doctrine came about? See, scalping came from Europe. And so they used to scale, you know, like scalping Indians out here was big business. Even among the millionaires are prejudiced against one another because of two groups. The one that's called the old money are the families that made all their money off human steaks, scalps, and all that sort of thing. That's called old money. The new money, they do not associate with the old money. So even among them, they have their own prejudice. But anyways, scalping got so good, the white man thought he really had it, right? So he come out to where I was. And only we learned how to do it really good. I mean, we were good. We were so good that the civilized nations had to sit down with the Dakota Empire to say, we now have to determine that is a crime against humanity by scalping them. And we had to agree that we would no longer ever scalp the white man again. And that comes from the Payne's Doctrine. Never mind what these colleges say, oh, scalping comes from bullshit. We were just good at it. We took the one thing that the white man scared, and that is to go around clean shaven on the head. And I like to remind him of that. Okay, so cannibalism. So cannibalism was part of the white race. Now, there's a difference between the white tribes and the white race. Like, it's the same identity when we say Washishina, we know that's a member of the white tribe.
All right, let's listen to that again.
So cannibalism was part of the white race. Now, there's a difference between the white tribes and the white race. Like, it's the same identity when we say Washishina, we know that's a member of the white tribe. And then the Washisho is the white race. The cannibals are the white race. Yeah, it's the same. You ever hear of St. Paul, Minnesota? That was the capital of our empire. It used to be called Ototo. And white people, tribal people that got driven from their countries over in Europe, they came there and they lived with us. I can take you a lot of towns in Minnesota. I'm sorry. When you come into town as a Sioux man, you're treated like a king. You know why? Because they were given territories, you understand, to live in and not to be molested. That the Dakota people gave to them. There's a lot of that back where I come from. So it's not always the same. All white men are prejudiced. It's not so. So, no fish on Friday is the fact because of Payne's Doctrine. And you got to remember, when you ate steak, Indian steak, that was called the long pig. And from everybody that I've ever read on it said, the long pig tasted a great deal like the short pig or swine. So the church doctrine of not eating any meat on Friday, it was put in there to make sure that the people through generations would stop eating human steak or stop practicing cannibalism. So you're talking about the people that were attacked that were cannibals? That's what they were.
So cannibalism was going on before Columbus.
Well, yeah, Columbus, it took 10 years to kill all the Indians in the Caribbean.
Because they say that's when cannibalism first.
No, that's where it's at. That's all. It took 10 years to kill every Indian in the Caribbean. Did you know there are no Indians in the Caribbean? It took 10 years because it was used as a food supply going back and forth across the Atlantic. And that's recorded documentation on this man. It took 10 years to wipe out every Indian in the Caribbean. And there are no Indians in the Caribbean.
Well, it was just a little bit of Meredith Quinn's work that I wanted everybody to check out today. Yeah, I wanted you to see that. All right. Nope, I need. Okay. Yeah. Let me see anybody else come in. You have sat good. Okay. Meredith Quinn's work that I wanted everybody to check out today. Whoops. Let me turn myself off. Aggie Pride. There's the one. What's happening? Stay away from hospitals. Oh, and you guys, I don't know if you know that A&T, they caught a shooter on campus. Well, no, let me take that back. They caught a guy with, when they stopped him, he had ammunition and a weapon in his car. They stopped a European like that in Greensboro. So I don't know if everybody knew that or not. Probably not national news, of course, but did happen on campus. One more story I came across of the day to just show you the. Okay, this is it. Just show you. Here we go. To show you the sadness in the
What if you could do SEO?
Country. Just to show you the sadness in the country, y'all. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. All right, here we go. This just doesn't make sense. Here we go.
We know how the suspects got a hold of the weapon.
Car burglaries. Yeah. Ain't that right? All the gun laws we got in place didn't prevent it, did it? Neither will any new ones. Because here's the fact. The bad guy is going to get a gun no matter what law you have put in place. These juveniles shouldn't even possess a handgun. But they did. And I'll go back to you. Add your question. A simple burglary, as some people will say, but I don't consider anything simple when it comes to a burglary. The law allows me, I'll plaster their face up on this page, up on my page, up on media. I will hand it out if the law allows me, because parents have the right to know who their kids are hanging out with and preventing this.
Now, 12-year-old is wanted for murder. This case was as you see, a 17-year-old and a 12-year-old killed 3 people. And you can just see the disgust in trying to even comprehend the matter. You can just see it. It's like, how are these people killing people? You can just see the disgust in their face. It's like, this makes no sense. Here's another one that Biden did. I don't know if y'all caught. I don't know if you guys caught this one. Oh, yeah, it looks like it's going to click right in, so I'll let it play. This commercial's blocking it. There we go. This is one no sound. Yeah, not getting anything. Oh, okay, here we go. Now, let me keep in mind we have several states. I think Tennessee was the newest state that said only men and women can compete against each other. All these states are doubling down and saying, no, we are not going to have young men trying to compete as women just because they take hormones. And so that's what this comes from. So he's trying to look at voters, president election coming up. He's trying to look at voters. And so that's why the right is trying to say, wait a minute, we're trying to stop them. Now I called this Title IX, like on my last channel, but even on this, I called it the Title IX. Again, Robin Roberts was the first probably trans person that benefited from Title IX. Now they're trying to put Title IX, they're trying to use Title IX as a reason to let these men take hormones and compete as women. Because again, no one's worried about a woman taking hormones and trying to compete as a man because that's just not going to work. What's happening is you see men trying to take hormones and then compete as a woman where they have an advantage. And that's not hate talk or anything. That's just what it really is. It's not fair. It's not fair. And you take two instances where you had the worst man swimmer. This guy was the worst male swimmer. He takes hormones. He's now the best woman swimmer. And we had a Division III track winner the same way. He was the worst Division III track guy. And then he takes hormones, and all of a sudden, he's winning. So. All right. Probably gonna get some kind of for playing that goofy music, but that's all right. It'll be some kind of copyright in that, but so it's not fair to say someone is 6'4" with the muscle mass and then say because you take some kind of hormone that you're still not 6'4" with the same muscle mass. And then your same worth ethic. So it's not fair, and it should be. Checking in the Galactic. Hey, Mr. Lamborghini. Yeah, the white boy. Yeah, the white boy in Greensboro. Yup. There's a white dude, a European dude that got stopped in Greensboro. I believe he was part of a cult. Oh wow, he was part of a cult. I didn't know that. It was like that's like the 6-year-old murder his teacher. Wow, I did not know that. The movie Joanna Man predicted in 2002. That is a good one. But I did not hear about the 6-year-old murdered his teacher. Damn. I heard about the one child went back and shot his teacher, or they took the gun and he tried to shoot at the teacher or some old shit. So, wow. So we see we faced with all these things, and these things are division. Again, it's not for me to say I don't like anybody. No, it ain't like that at all. I try to be cool with everybody, but it's to me that's just not fair. And you don't see women who go past as men. You don't see them trying to compete in men's sports because again they can't. They can't. I don't know if y'all caught this, and I don't know if I'm gonna play any of it.
If you're looking for a smooth, euphoric experience that's just
I gotta sneeze. Let me me see.
Athletic department. The LSU athletic department said the national champion women's basketball team will accept an invitation to visit the White House, despite what Angel Reese said. Let's check out what Angel Reese had to say about the White House invitation. Here's the video.
Came out with that statement this morning. We made a lot of phone calls, and that's why she wants to come out and apologize. But at the same time,
the damage is
I
done.
don't accept I'm not.
Now, this is really a non-story to me. This is really a non-story to me, but it's just showing you the mentality of how they try to keep these things living longer. You know, it's really nobody cares about none of that. And they try to keep the story living longer. Hey, Derek, what's happening? Thank you for joining us. Read my soul. What is happening? Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. So we have non-stories turned into stories. This game is over. Again, there's no controversy about the men at all, but the controversy is more about the women. They're talking more about the women than you are about the men's story. And usually it's the opposite. So it's trying to give the women's story more traction. That's all we have there. So we'll see how it goes, y'all. We'll see. We'll see exactly how it goes. I thought this is interesting.
Hey, DeSantis is signing a permitless carry law.
Yeah, let's check this out. This is interesting. What do you guys think about this?
He's got to use the
He's gotta go-
wisdom, the wisdom of Solomon. Cut the baby in half so no one's happy.
I don't know how anybody could be for this. This seems nuts.
Well, I thought that, and then, well, you show it later in the thing. But.
Now, why does this seem nuts? Everyone should be able to carry. You should be able to protect yourself without, because the one thing about surprise is if you can protect yourself, that's surprise to the bad guy. Because most bad guys, and again, with stand your ground law, people don't even have the right to approach you.
Governor Ron DeSantis on Monday signed into law a bill that lets people carry guns without a permit and without any training.
Right on.
He also said you could just drive a car without passing a test, and you can. I mean, come on.
Really? Let's look at it. We shouldn't have to pay car insurance. Car insurance is one of the biggest scams that they put upon us. Okay, yeah, if you crash your car, but what if you don't? What if you go your whole life and you never have a car crash? You've paid tens of thousands of dollars to something that you really didn't need. And they're never going to give you any money back. But let's go.
You got to get a license to fish.
Well, but a driver, the argument they have is that a car is not a constitutional right.
It's not a constitution,
Yeah.
that's right. John Vellico, Executive Vice President of Gun Owners of America, said the governor signed the bill Monday morning in a Capitol in front of a group of about 20 people. The bill, which will take effect on July 1st, has faced attacks on both sides of the gun debate. People from gun safety advocacy groups have said allowing people to carry concealed guns in public without training and removing an additional background check will make the public less safe. You think?
Now, that is totally not true. That is totally not true. That is totally not true. What did we just see the sheriff say? It doesn't matter how much gun control you try to do. It is never going to take the guns away from people that need them as their jobs or trying to break laws. That's not going to go away. So therefore, the more people that can legally carry, the better America will be. So let's go.
Think. People who are otherwise prohibited from carrying a gun under state and federal law, like people with a felony and certain disqualifying misdemeanors, would still be barred. Second Amendment advocates have criticized the bill for not going far enough, saying that without allowing people to openly carry guns in public, the bill isn't a true constitutional carry measure, as DeSantis guaranteed. You're fucking kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. Unless we can openly carry with a cowboy hat of our choosing, we will never be free.
Wow, now he's talking about character. Now he's trying to get into character. He's saying if you want a constitutional right, you got to be a country cowboy. So that attacks character. But let's go. Let's hear what else this lame got to say.
Throw in the hat.
Throw in the hat. Velico said the governor said that it was a great day for Floridian Second Amendment rights and said DeSantis noted that more than half of the state in the country will now have permitless carry measures. Half the states?
Yeah, that's the thing. I was like, oh, that sounds crazy. Like a huge amount of the states have had that for a while.
So we see the certain attacks, but to me that appears like a good day, Yeah, it's funny now. She's getting interviewed by ESPN. She said she agreed to go to the White House. Of course, she took flack. South Carolina will do the same. Yeah, they're trying their hardest to attend the women story when it's not a story. Exactly. NYC and Chicago got big gun laws, still have crazy gun crimes. Absolutely. They have some of the most restrictive gun laws in the country, yet they still are one of the major crime centers of the country. So it's not about the gun laws. It's about the individuals. And the people that get harmed the most are civilians. I mean, remember what happened to Plexico Burris? He was just a lame who some reason had beef, but his ego told him he had to go up in the club. So he was wearing a pair of sweatpants with a Glock. And just probably held together by his drawers and his sweatpants. And some kind of way the Glock fell down. He tries to pick it up through the sweatpants. And he shoots himself in New York City. He got damn near 2 years prison for that. Yeah, remember that? Plexico Burris? Damn near 2 years in prison for that gun in New York. So it just shows you that it's not about the guns, guys. It's about control. Because if you can take people's ability to protect themselves, which is America's number one protectors, you take that away, then you have anarchy. And then you can start corralling people. And don't think they wouldn't do that. Don't think they wouldn't do that. Don't think the police wouldn't. If the police knew that so many people had guns, the police would even be worse than what they are. I mean, just think about it. They know people have guns, and look at how bad police have treated the civilians. And so without the guns, can you imagine? With no threat at all? Can you imagine what it'd be like? So, so that's all. That's all to consider. So protect yourself, train yourself the best way. Now I'll say this: it never hurts to have firearm training. As I admitted, I shot my first gun at 5 years old because my uncle, I was watching him. He had like a 38 or 357 snub nose, and he's like, "You want to shoot?" And at 5 years old, I'm like, "Yes, I do." And that was the first time I shot a gun. He held me and he let me shoot all 6 rounds off. And I've been infatuated with guns my whole life. When I turned 18, I was able to buy guns. And when I started buying guns in Greensboro, again, I knew some dudes. I worked with some dudes. The water department was Klans dudes. And so they was always had guns and selling guns. So first gun I bought was a .22 rifle, followed by a .38, probably J-body, I think they called, and a J-body 357 that I ended up putting the pearl handles on, that I carried everywhere in a bag. I mean, everybody carried guns at work, too. When I worked for the water department, everybody carried guns. So if you didn't carry your gun during your job because it wasn't against the law, because everybody seemed to have one, but everybody had them in their cars, too. Because you could literally have a gun rack. I think some states still allow that, where you can ride around with guns in your gun rack. South Carolina might still be like that, where you can drive around with guns in your gun racks. I think North Carolina might still be like that. You got your truck, you got guns in the gun rack. That was normal. That is normal. So I think what the Florida is doing, that part is positive. That part is positive. I'll read a little bit of this. It is just amazing, the culture. I don't know. I don't know how. Oh, I know what I wanted to see. So it's just part of the culture. It is interesting. Let me see if this is interesting to me, but I don't know any. I don't know if you guys caught this. This is a little interesting. Check this out. I don't know if anybody caught this. Let's see.
Investigation revealed he failed to report frequent luxury trips paid for by a billionaire Republican megadonor named Harlan Crow, who serves on the board of the right-wing American Enterprise Institute. The investigation reveals that for about 20 years, Thomas secretly accepted luxury vacations from Crow, an apparent violation of a law requiring justices and other federal officials to disclose most gifts. One vacation involved 9 days of island hopping in Indonesia aboard a 162-foot super yacht. Clarence Thomas and his wife, Ginny Thomas, flew to Indonesia.
Now, I don't know if they're going to say this or not, but in the article I read, they said that one of these trips cost upwards of $5 million. So I don't know if they're going to mention this or not, but that's what one of the articles I read said.
On Crow's private jet. Thomas also frequently vacationed at Crow's 105-acre resort in the Adirondacks of New York. Hanging on the walls of the resort is a painting of Clarence Thomas sitting with 4 other men, including Harlan Crow, as well as Leonard Leo of the Federalist.
What do we have here? Look like there's a little magic going on here. Look what they have here. And there he is. And you can't say this ain't buying votes. He tries to say that none of his, and you know what I'm going to compare this to? This is years of getting these vacations. Years of getting vacations. It reminds me of the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover. And J. Edgar Hoover, him and his lover Tolson, who was the assistant director of the FBI. And they took California vacations every year. They went to they stayed in gangsters hotels and they gambled every day at a gangsters racetrack. So this has been going on. And then he says that this doesn't affect your decisions.
Society. Thomas never reported any of the free trips as gifts. On Thursday, New York Congressmember Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez tweeted, quote, "This is beyond party or partisanship. This degree of corruption is shocking, almost cartoonish. Thomas must be impeached," she said. We're joined now by Justin Elliott, who co-authored the ProPublica investigation headline.
Now, if he's impeached, it will break the tie, but I doubt he's impeached. But that's what the aim of this is, to try to get one of these people on the right out.
Clarence Thomas and the billionaire. Lay out what you found, Justin.
Yeah, well, what we found is that Justice Thomas has this extraordinary and apparently unprecedented relationship with this outside billionaire who is basically subsidizing his life. I mean, we're talking about trips on a private jet that charters for $10,000 to $15,000 per hour. Cruises around the world on the super yacht that you described, regular vacations with this billionaire and his friends, who in some cases are people that have either ideological or potentially financial interests before the court.
Well, explain what the rules are for Supreme Court justices.
Yeah, one of the striking things here as we got into this is just how few rules there are, especially compared to other people in the government. I've friends who work in the federal bureaucracy who say they can't even, have somebody buy them lunch. Supreme Court justices have very few rules in terms of accepting gifts. One of the few things the law requires them to do is to simply disclose gifts, most gifts. This was a law that was passed back in the 1970s after Watergate. And Clarence Thomas, by not reporting these private jet trips and some of the other travel, appears to be in just repeat violation of that law, according to the ethics lawyers we spoke to.
So I wanted to read from your investigation. Thomas's frequent vacations at Top Ridge have brought him into contact with corporate executives and political activists during one trip in 2006.
This is mind blowing. This is really mind blowing. It's just, I mean, the corruption is just mind blowing.
17. His fellow guests included executives at Verizon, PricewaterhouseCoopers, major Republican donors, one of the leaders of the American Enterprise Institute, a pro-business conservative think tank, according to the records you reviewed. The painting of Thomas at Top Ridge, and so I want to show this for our TV audience, shows him in conversation, as we said earlier, with Leonard Leo of the Federalist Society. Explain who the other people are and what Top Ridge is.
Yeah, Top Ridge is this incredible, essentially private resort.
Reminds me of the Bloomberg meeting, the yearly meeting that they have, that the rich have, where y'all know that Marduk has been to the last, what is the Bloomberg meetings? And you know, Marduk came one time as a lady, next time he came as an older man. Yeah. Yeah, because they was looking like, why is this old man coming up, or why is this old lady walking to this very millionaire thing? Yeah, it was Marduk, or Yadabath, Yabatha, whichever one you want to call it.
In upstate New York in the Adirondacks. It was actually built by Marjorie Merriweather Post, who is the same heiress who built what is now Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago about a century ago, to give you a sense of the kind of lavishness of the property. And this property is now owned by this Dallas.
You know, being from Michigan, I got to throw in that Marjorie Post. So CW Post was, I'm not sure what kind of businessman he was, but he was on vacation at the sanitarium Battle Creek, owned by Dr. John Kellogg. Let me get that right. Yes, John Kellogg. There was an accident. And the way Kellogg's was made was actually an accident. They were trying to make muffins, and some of the dough accidentally kind of flaked up. And they started making these flakes. It was by accident. So at first, it was only made at the Battle Creek Sanitarium. That's where Post comes in. So William Kellogg, who later becomes the Post, the Kellogg brand Kellogg, had to sue Dr. Kellogg to sell the damn cereal. And people hated him so much, his brother took him all the way to Supreme Court. That's what it took for him to break free of Dr. Kellogg, because it was invented on his property. And even though his brother still got royalties from the Kellogg Company. But anyway, Post beat Kellogg's to the cereal, to the stores. But Post had some issues. There was a statue of Post, but they finally took it down because, you know, Post blew his brains out. And this is where his daughter also started Fort Lauderdale. After she went down there, I was just talking about, well, Al Capone went down there. So
Dallas real estate billionaire Harlan Crow, and he regularly hosts Thomas there. And we're not talking about just sort of a lake house. It's a whole campus of buildings. There's a staff of chefs and waiters and that sort of thing. And, you know, it's very difficult to find out who is on these trips with Justice Thomas. We were able to get the names of guests on one or two occasions. And even though Harlan Crow, you know, told us in a statement that he and his friends are not trying to influence Justice Thomas, you know, the people, for example, in the painting you describe are... And
what is the sculpture behind them?
Yeah, it's a sculpture of a Native American man sort of with his hands outstretched. We're not really sure why it's there or what it's supposed to mean. I actually spoke to the painter who created the piece, and you know, he said that in real life that sculpture is actually 2 or 3 times bigger, and he shrunk it in the painting for scale. But we don't really know why it's there or why they made the choice to.
Looks like to me he's giving away America, doesn't it? That's what it looks like to me. Looks like to me he's giving away America. Let's go.
To pose in front of it. But, you know, all of the men in the painting, besides Harlan Crow, are conservative lawyers. People are active in one way or another in the conservative legal movement. You know,
of course, Leonard Leo, key to the choosing of conservative justices, especially under Trump.
Yeah, Leonard Leo has been very involved in creating the current Supreme Court supermajority, and Harlan Crow has donated to Leonard Leo's groups, and this is a guy who now has a war chest of I think over $1 billion, and again when you look at that painting, it raises a lot of questions about Harlan Crow's statement that this is all about sort of.
All right, all right. So it just tells you corruption on, so many different levels. That's what it is. It's corruption on so many different levels. And people get passes. He'll get passes. Nothing will come of it. He'll be able to take all those trips. And as I was mentioning, one of those trips they said was something like $5 million for him and his wife to make the trip on the boat, the plane, and staying in the hotel. $5 million. Now, you can't tell me that you're not influenced. That just sounds ridiculous, that you're not influenced by these things. How could you not be influenced? I mean, if every time I have a vacation and I'm off of court and I know I can call you, or you're texting me and you're saying, hey, you're going to start coming with us? How often do you think that's done? Like they show you, and one thing about the painting that the painting gets out, it shows you the conversations. So what do you think they're talking about? Well, Justice, Supreme Court Justice, what do you think? He's an ally. That's what that painting means. He's an ally. And they put the Indian back there again. You gave it away. That's what they look at. You gave it away. So these are some things just to consider. I'm just saying. These are some things just to consider. What is this? Oh, there's a cool car. What's that? What kind of car is that? You suck. You suck. Not what I was looking for, but that's all right. That's all right. They plotting. That's right. They're plotting and planning. So you can't say it's not any influence. They're not having any influence because we know they're having influence, because that's how influence works. You make someone's lives comfortable, and you're comfortable talking about everything. So you don't need to, you don't need to have the favors, because in conversation, you can let people know what you need and how you feel. So that happen to be anything like if people record you, you'll never actually say that. It's just by in conversation. We know what's implied. And they can't deny that because that's how it works. And that's the corruption right there. Yeah, still searching stuff. It's just funny. Still, how they still hide things in the age of discovery, the age of but it's all these non-stories that they try to make stories. It's like even someone mentioned last night, even these pictures of Ben Gordon, they make Ben Gordon look, just super rough, just like rougher than rough. Rougher than rough. This other thing says Biden confronts Clarence Thomas over scandal. Dun, 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 dun. Clarence Thomas says trips paid by billionaire was personal hospitality. Dun, 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 dun. Personal hospitality. That is some crap. Is there gold on the moon, y'all? Wonder what this is on. It's talking about Sonny Vaccaro. After Sonny Vaccaro got fired from, after Sonny got fired in Nike in '94, he had about a 10-year run with. He joined companies Adidas and then Reebok. He left Reebok in 2007 and hasn't worked for another company since. He lives in California with his wife. Vaccaro claimed that the FBI investigated him for corporate espionage when he got fired from Nike, but no charges were filed. After the iconic signing of Michael Jordan to the Nike brand, Vaccaro established ABC Camp in '84. No, there was another camp. Now, I know the All-Star game was called the Dapper Dandy. They're saying this camp came in '84. He was running camps before then. Now, I know he was doing the All-American tournament, the Dapper Dandies, but there was another camp he was running. So, as I said before, he met Michael Jordan in high school. About how the deal came in 2015, Jordan told USA Today about how the deal came about and how Vaccaro took credit. But in reality, it wasn't Sonny. It was actually George Raveling, who was with him in '84. He used to always try to talk to me. You got to go Nike. You got to go Nike. You got to try. So Sonny didn't influence me. Jordan said he got a deal proposed. He talked to Strausser at the time, and I understood. Blah blah blah. He's looking for whoever he could find to fit that mold. What he's trying to do from Air Jordan's standpoint. Sonny watched me play in the McDonald's All-American game. See? Because before then, it was called the Dapper Dandy Tournament before it was taken over. And he never played AAU. And again, Michael Jordan was going to Dean Smith's basketball camp since elementary. Him and James Worthy both. Sleepy Floyd. These guys Dean Smith knew about all these guys because James Worthy and Sleepy Floyd are from the same college. They're from high school. They're from Gastonia, North Carolina. Worthy goes to Carolina. Well, Sleepy Floyd was 2 years older than us. Sleepy Floyd goes to Georgetown, which was John Thompson's highest national pick at that time before Patrick Ewing. It was Sleepy Floyd. He was the top recruit he ever got. You guys remember that history. And that's kind of what brought everybody. Billy Martin. They got Billy Martin. When they got Ewing, they got Billy Martin too. You know, they got and Anthony Jones before he went to UNLV. They got all the top. The only one that got away from John Thompson was Adrian Branch. Billy Martin. What was the other guy? But it was Billy Martin, Anthony Jones. There's one more. But he was getting all the DC talent. So if you watch the movie makes you think that the first time he really studies Jordan is in the on tape during the championship game where Jordan hits the shot, but that's not the point. He saw him playing out of high school. Now, Phil Knight says Michael's lying. Michael's lying more than Phil, and Raveling is insane. All three of them need to destroy me to live happily ever after. Everyone's trying to rewrite history. It goes beyond Jordan. I am the savior of Nike. He continued by his relationship with the Bulls MVP. Michael's more important to me than Nike because I always felt I brought Michael there. We were still warm. Even at the All-Star game, he teased me. This is interesting. Vaccaro became involved in O'Bannon versus NCAA lawsuit that challenged association's rules restricting competition for college athletes. The court ruled against the NCAA that the NCAA's long-held practice of bearing payments to athletes violated antitrust laws. The athletes should be entitled to commercial use of their image. The kids are going to benefit from this. Our kids who don't even know what we did today, Vaccaro said. The future generation will be the benefactor of all this. So, Vaccaro was not that bad a cat. Shadows of Tomorrow. I mentioned the news about Ben Gordon. Yep, you mentioned the news about Ben Gordon last night. You sure did. Shadows of Tomorrow. That teacher never died. The perfectly fine press runs within 2 weeks. Welcome, Shadow Tomorrow. Yeah, so the teacher didn't die. She was perfectly fine doing the press runs. Okay, yeah, I knew one where the boy shot the teacher, but I wasn't sure. But thank you for helping us out with that, correcting that. So we see half truths. Hey, I've been cool. Thank you for joining me. I've been very smooth. My fiance and I are gonna get to lay down tonight together. Since most nights, she has to work during the week, so I'm kind of free. And so, our hours are different. So this is, Friday night, unless it just depends. We're gonna go to the car show. I don't know if you guys are car heads, but the International Auto Show is going on this week. So we're going to go tonight or tomorrow, I think. And then, of course, we're not Roman Catholic, but or Christian, but we're going to be with the family on Easter. So, and so I'm gonna have to pick up my daughter something, pick her up some chocolate or something for fertility holiday. That crazy fertility holiday. That made me think of what was it? Gosh, eyes all been up. American Gods. Do you guys remember the end of season 1 or season 2 of American Gods, and where they had the S-Star, S-Star. That's pretty easy to search. The S-Star. Let's see if I can find an image of S-Star. Let's see what comes up. Not her. What is it? She'll be. Oh, here we go. I don't know about this. Nope, nope, nope. 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 Well, I'll do an easier search. There we go. My no spelling ass. Here we go. Yeah. See if we can find some of this. And this is what's coming up. We have the lamb. And I know they get with the symbol of the lion and the lamb. Look at this. We have the Holy See. See that? They've stuck the Holy See on it. These are all reflections of Easter. Again, heavily on the lion and heavily on the lamb. So this is the symbolism through time. This is, the Borgia. This is Borgia. That's who that is. That's Borgia. Again, we've got the Borgia again. And there's nothing holy about this to show a man suffering. I mean, this is nothing holy. That's very unholy to show a man suffering. You can say whatever, suffered from who, but it just, how is that holy? So, still let me see. There's one more thing I can look up. See if that comes up. Yes and no. Yeah, yes and no. Oh, I can know another way to spell it. Okay, I didn't even think about that. This is what I was looking for. Okay. And here we have Ishtar. Akkad. I can't read this. Must be, but this is Ishtar. And this is basically where we get Ishtar. Comes from Ishtar. Right here. Fraternity god. Here's another one. Ishtar. See? The breasts represent the eggs. The multiple breasts are the eggs. It's fertility holiday, rebirth. The winter is the death, the summer is the rebirth. Jezebel, but this is Ishtar. This is Ishtar as the Black Madonna. Whoops. See? And there's so many different fraternity goddess. Yana Holly, give me. It's kind of a cool statue. Kind of Greek, though. Kind of a copy of Mu, Isis. Or Mu and Asar. Then a Kemet, Nut, is the same thing, which was much before, which was actually preceded. And so we see, you know, the plagiarism. And again, this is Sumerian. This is not Gloetan. This is Sumerian. It's a way you can tell the difference. The Sumerian, see, the Grecians, the art is different in the eyes. And this again, you can see the difference between Gloetians and Sumerians. You see, the art is even different. Again, here we go. Egyptian Horus, but a lot of the same symbolism that we're seeing in this holiday coming up. The extraterrestrial civilized man. No. And again, we have the symbolism. Ianas, that's the name I was looking for, Iana. The most prominent female deity in ancient Mesoamerica was Iana, known as Ishtar. Monolithic religions have a way of leaving women out, making them background characters. So this is what, you know, Iana, Ishtar, this is what we're really celebrating. And, you know, if you look at what really Easter is, it's the death and the resurrection, but that's the winter and then then the spring with things coming back to life. So if you remember that. The death and the rebirth is what we're seeing. And that's what we celebrate. We celebrate the death and the rebirth. So don't think I need this one running. Yeah, take care of that. Yep. I mentioned, yeah. News. Thanks for the connection. Salute. Yeah, so that's what we're doing. We're going to get my son and his partner, and we're going to take them to the car show. And then proposal to get my son to, you know, get on him. Because he needs to do something. He's too young not to do nothing. So give him some motivation to do some shit. That's all. But, and you know, it's funny you get with children, and he's a middle child too, and they start saying favoritism because again, I spend a lot more time with my youngest son because he lives so near, and then this son, he doesn't really drive. So it's always fighting different favoritism. The children going through different things. So just try to meet with all of them when I can. You know, that's all it is. When you have grown children, you just try to do what you can. Because you do everything you can in that 18 years you're allowed to live with them. And you try to get the best in and make the best choices of what you know at the given time. And sometimes those choices aren't great choices. Not harmful, but just not a great choice. Could have been choices that might have helped the children in some other ways. But again, when you're a parent, a single parent of more than one child, you have all these scenarios going on. And in the midst, at the time, trying to have a relationship with their mother. So, not easy thing all the time, guys. You got to blow that shit out. So, yeah, that's all I'm doing, guys. That's all I'm doing tonight since ain't really the NBA is wrapping up this weekend. Far as the NBA is wrapping up far as regular season is coming to a close. And so the next few days, we're going to see these different teams not really participate. Good. Mugs, be ready for me. And so these games aren't going to really mean a lot in the last couple days. Yeah, cool. So that's what's going on. That's what's going on tonight. That's why I'm going to the car show tonight. America was made. Sure enough. Yeah, but it's good to read my soul. Any new shoes lately? I am going to get the Jason Tatums. I really want the white ones they show in the ad, because the ad shows a pair of white ones. Like when you look on the Nike site or even Dick's Sports, when they show them, they show the ad of them all white. And they ain't released all white pair, and I think that's going to be the nicest pair. But I think that's my next buy. Is I'm gonna buy some Jason Tatum's, because he likes to put a lot more emphasis in the forefoot. I still have to get a pair of LeBrons. I want to get the gold ones that Anthony Davis wore a couple weeks ago. So whenever those come out, that's what I'm waiting to get those. I'll tell you what though, the Jordan 37s is gonna be a nice shoe to wear in the summertime. It's got all that mesh. Those are gonna be nice shoes to wear in the summertime with a short pair of socks that don't show. Put a little color in the toe compared to the clear mesh. That's gonna be a nice shoe. It's gonna be a really cool shoe, and I mean, far as your feet not sweating shoe too. It's gonna be a nice shoe where your feet won't sweat. That's why I got 2 pair of 37s and I got a pair of the 36s. So they're gonna be a cool shoe to wear when it's hot, just because they're so open. So that's kind of interesting. I think I can play pickleball in the 36s though, but I think ideally the 37 lows Jordan lows is probably going to be my pickleball shoe. I'm gonna have to try, because I'm getting away from Adidas because they don't put a lot of padding in the forefoot. On the other hand, pickleball, you're going side to side most of the time, up, back and forth, side to side. So don't really need a lot in the forefoot, I think. So it's gonna be interesting to see what shoe I go with this year in pickleball. So and next year I'm even gonna do a thing about boots too, because I wear boots a lot. Up here in this part of the country, you gotta wear boots. And the cool thing about my boots is I can put my inserts in all my boots. So let me show y'all some cool stuff. I've been trying to let me see if I can find this. Here we go. No, ain't nobody thinking about this, and this is just my own personal fashion. Let's see if yeah, okay. Yeah, this is it. Now again, I don't work for them, so don't be on here saying I'm trying to work for them, but look at these. These are damn near handmade boots. Look at that. They make these in Red Wing. Look at these. This is like what Timberland does is they glue this, and see how this is a better process here. And this is leather. Look at these. Look at these. Now they've got a new color coming out. Now these are a little cheaper, but look at these. And these fit my inserts so much better. And again, I'm not selling these because some of these are getting away from Red Wings. Let's see, are these still Red Wings? No, see, this is a different company. This is a different company. They ain't Red Wings. Oh well. Oh well. I have to bring it back up. Just so many things to, be comfortable in, that's all. It's not just one thing. Here we go. It's not just one thing, everybody. Let's see what we got here. I know we're going to go into summer styles. See which ones are Red Wings and which ones aren't. Georgia boots. They show all these different companies. Here go a pair. Now, those of you that need steel toes, I mean, they make steel toe boots. And I mean, you put $300 in these, you got a good pair of boots that last you a lifetime. That's all. Trying to think. Yeah, right here. No, I don't think these are steel toes. These are waterproof, though. Look at that styling. But just look at the, oh no. And you put some of your own inserts in these, man, they're so comfortable. Now, again, we ain't wearing these when it's 90. But up here where we wear jeans most of the time, I mean, this is quality. This is good quality. These are these mine? No, this is Eddie Bauer. Mine are better. But I have a pair of, let me see, my Red Wing boots like that are on here. Let's see if my Red Wing boots are on here. They don't appear to be. Because they've mixed a lot of other companies in here, as you could see. So, they're not just Red Wings on the commercials. And for those of you that work, you know, they do sell steel toe boots too. So, and if you have to stay on your feet, you should, you know, really put good money into what's on your feet. If you work. So I want to. Okay. All right. Yeah, just more Red Wings. Here's a pair. Looks like it's a soft toe. But again, great quality. They'll last you a lot longer than some of the others. And I mean, it's up to you. You know, it's personal style. I dig. They got a new pair. I wanted to see if they show this new pair to show y'all this color that's coming out. And I don't see my winter boots on here. Nope. Nope. So it's on your personal style. That's all. I mean, every man can use some boots. Let me see if this will bring up the other boots. No. Sure, I wanted to show y'all this color, but I don't see it. So, and I can't make dress shoes comfortable. I cannot make dress shoes comfortable. There's nothing I can put in dress shoes that they're comfortable anymore, because they're not. Dress shoes are not comfortable anymore. So, hey, what's up? Oh, there's my brother, Quian Redface. You say you need some new Buster Browns. That's funny. That's funny. God, where's the back? How you doing this afternoon? Man's up here warm today. Why is it? It's, well, warmer. I ain't gonna say it's warm. It's warmer. There we go. It is warmer today. Not warm, but warmer. That's what killed the whole thing. Said he needs some Buster Brown boots. That's funny. I remember them. I mean, my brother probably got his first, some of his first shoes was probably at the same place I got mine from, Little Chicks. It still exists in Michigan. Little Chicks still exist in Michigan, where I got my first pair of shoes. from Little Chicks. Still exists. When my daughter was that age, we went to Little Chicks. That was her first pair of walking shoes, was from Little Chicks. So, hey, no comprendo, what's happening? Yeah, warm and loving it. Yeah. It's nice. It's nice. That's why we're going out. We're going to get your nephew. We're going to get Cam. And what is this? We're going to get Cam and go to the auto show. I don't know if they're going to go with us, but we're going to go pick them up. I can't see that color. I got the color on in my phone and don't see it here. I tell you, it's a trip now being able to wear dress shoes because I still look at them and be wanting to buy them like Gators and stuff. And there are certain sneaker Gators, but overall they don't, I can't wear them long, so. Like when I wear a tux, when I get married and wear a tux, I'm wearing some comfortable shoes. I'm not wearing dress shoes. I'm gonna wear a type of tennis shoe. I know one of the men's, it's funny, one of the men's dudes, it's a video channel. And they're just telling him, dress shoes are not comfortable anymore. I mean, they're just not, unless you get like a Clark or something like that, dress shoes aren't comfortable. They're too flat. There's nothing in them. And so I don't know how men back years ago could just wear those flat, hard shoes all day and all the time. But that day has passed for many. Many people, what is this? Many people, they just want comfort now. And they're just not going to settle for just the way the shoe looks. You got to have some comfort with it. Now, and I guess like for me, I can't wear Air Jordans, the ones or the dunks. I can't wear them. There's nothing in them. I don't need, like Jordan said when he went back and wore them the last time Jordan wore them, he said they made his feet bleed. Because by then when he went back, he was by then wearing the 7 or 8s. So then going back to wearing the ones, the different technology between a 7 and 8 and a 1, that's a world of difference in technology. So. So it's good to just, whatever you do, it's worth putting money into your feet. I still want to find this color because I'm trying to tell y'all this color. It might be too new because that's what I'm going down there and buy a pair of them. I'm going to drop that 3 because they're worth it. And you can polish the hell out of these. Like my boots are more, they're like the old Alpine ski boots, but they're Red Wing, and I don't see that kind of style in here. It's the same kind of style over and over again. So, yeah. The insole's better in the re-release Air Jordan 1s. Okay. And I see some have the air bubble. Like I have the 11s with the air bubble pocket, the retros with the air bubble pocket. It makes a much better shoe in my opinion. Now, I'll say this. I've said this before. When they came out with the Zoom Air, that made them really great shoes. The Zoom Air was a big, big difference in the shoe overall. And my feet aren't sensitive they're not as sensitive. They're more sensitive now than they were then. So when they first came out with the Air Zoom, that was one before, even before the Maxes came out. Because when they came out with the Maxes, that's all I wore was Maxes, like the Barclays, the David Robertsons. Remember David Robertsons had the white straps? I got a picture of me wearing them. But the David Robertsons, that model that was his, they had the strap around it, but it was a Max kind of unit. Yeah. How far is Emily, Minnesota from you? I don't know. I'd have to look that up. I haven't heard of that. But I don't think it's close. Oh, okay. These my boots. My boots are better than that. These must be really old. Yeah, I don't know where that's at. Because I know we had the train derailment. I think I talked about that last night. And then we had the nuclear plant leak. And what's interesting about the nuclear plant, that if you go down 94 east or west, but if you say you're coming back in the city, so you're coming back east from 94, it's interesting to see the way they did them towers. Like those towers that come from Monticello, from the nuclear plant, they run them down 94, and then they go on 494, because we got 394 and 494. It's really just still branches of 94. And it's funny if you watch these big towers, these big power line towers, that how they go through Plymouth, and then they go all the way partly to Eden Prairie, and then you see how they feed into the Twin Cities, and that's where we get most of our power. The Nike Air Unlimited were nasty. My coworker Damon Stalker was the chief of police for years. No, just found out he was booed on administrative leave. Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know where that's at. Yeah, the Air Limited. Yeah, so those David Robinsons, yeah, those I used to hoop in them. And I remember my son had stepped on a pair, and we was at the store, and the lady was like, "Oh, you must be new." And my boy was little. Like, boy, don't step on my shoes. That's always been a thing. So as a real hooper, and somebody who hooped all the time, had to have the best shoes. So, and as I said, I was very generous with my old shoes, because like even my clothes, it was like Curdy was the main dude that always got clothes for me, because he said, no matter what, just bring it by, drop it off at my mom's. And that's what I did all the time. I have a bag of clothes, just take it over to him, and he'd be wearing my big shit. Curdy probably was tall as me, but he wasn't near. He was a pretty thin dude. But Curdy is still the ultimate. He was still the ultimate. Because I remember he had lit a cigarette for his woman, and his flame was like, he lit the cigarette, and the flame was like this high. And she's like, "Why you got your flame so high?" And with a straight face, he said, "For when I get my geek on." When I get my geek on. Smoking crack. The lighter got to be hot. The flame got to be high. After he hit the crack, he say, "My, my, my." Oh, but yeah, Curdy killed me when he said that shit at a party. And me and Eric just looked, and we just shook our heads like, this nigga's just the silliest of the silly. He is just the silliest of the silly. And I hope that brother's still with us, because he was around my age. Let me see. My brother's 57. Eric's got to be at least 55. So Curdy probably 55 if he's still alive. I can't really say. I haven't seen him. When I knew him, he was in his 30s and 40s, still living with his mama, smoking crack. I want to show these. These are clean. Check these out. This ain't really the color. Let me see if they got the other color. I kind of do. It's these. They look the same. All right. I am getting these, but I'm going down to the factory to get them. This pair right here. Yeah. This pair right here. Yeah, I'm getting these. I'm going down there getting a pair of these. Oh, these are women's, but the men, the color, that's the color I was trying to say. Yeah, it's this color. But this is called something else. But it's going to be like this style, but it's this light color. This light color. And let's see, they got my size. This might be a woman's shoe too. But yeah, so looking for the color, but that light beige kind of boot. They call it Albaline, but that's what I'm gonna go down there and get me a pair. Trying to tell all these young dudes I need some of that Smokey Robinson dancing music with me. That Smokey Robinson stuff is the funniest of the funny. The funniest of the funny. and he's getting a lot of traction from it. Smokey's getting a lot of traction from it, which is interesting. So people are feeling it. People are really feeling it. Well, guys, I went on for about an hour and 25 minutes. That's all I really wanted to do today. Just a little short show. If I have time and we get back early enough, maybe, but definitely not going to be late. So I want to thank everybody that came today. Shout out to yourselves. Thank you for grooving with me. Thank you for grooving with me today. And let's hit them. Okay. Let's see. I just think it's the funny stuff. Guess after a while it ain't funny no more, but sometimes this shit is still funny, y'all. Some of this stuff is just still the funniest of the funny. See if I get this going.
Do it over time. Fade that nigga. Shit. Bar, bet the bar, off time. Shit, boy, I'm trying to make me some money. Boy, I'm hungry as a hog needs slop Jesus. Shit, gotta be a Jesus, cause too many black folks. Boy.
Oh, that is one of my favorites. That is one of my favorites of all time. Rich. This might hit so fast. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, that never gets old. Smokey never gets old. They're definitely going to hit me for this, but I don't care. Let's add this one too.
I ain't got no coke left.
Your lines are still open. Oh, shit, you can get it, nigga. You wanna get it. No goddamn money, nigga.
The lines is open. You can get it if you want to get it. I love that stuff, y'all. Well, thank y'all for coming. I'm just having fun. Enjoy your day. Get out with your loved ones. For the others of you that work, living for the weekend. So enjoy. Just remember, do your thing while I do my thing. This is the Big Eagle Hour. I am Big Pontiac. Till we meet again.